Hey guys, I'm super excited for you to get to know Coach Michelle. She holds a master's in public health and nutrition. She's an ACE certified personal trainer, and she's a group fitness certified instructor as well. She lives in Austin, and she just embodies everything that aligns with our BBR values. She is super empowering. She loves helping women transform their bodies and their confidence, and she has a really unique story herself. So, Michelle, tell us a little bit more about you and what got you into health and fitness.
Yeah, I would say there are two specific, I would say maybe monumental events that happened in my life. And the first one was I was always a three-sport athlete, so I was always super active growing up. And then when I was 16 years old, I ended up working out at the gym. Honestly, probably didn't really know what I was doing, and I threw out my back. And when I threw out my back, the pain never went away. Like no matter what I did, it just I don't know. It just never went away. And so I got all these tests and we found out I was born with a condition in my back where my spine and my sacrum were fused together and the doctors told me I should never work out again. I'm just going to have to live with the pain or go through a surgery that was a 50-50 paralyzation shot.
Oh my
And
God, that's really scary.
yeah, I didn't
You were
know.
16 to hear that.
16 to say like never could play sports, never could work out, like honestly, couch potato for the rest of my life.
And you were a three-sport athlete at that time.
hmm And so I was like, I can't go through with the surgery because I can't take a 50-50 paralyzation shot.
Yeah.
But I couldn't just accept the fact that I had to be a couch potato or live with the pain. And so I went to physical therapy and he was honestly, he's a mentor. I love him. I actually have a client right now who's in Boston. So I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, right outside of it. And I sent her to him too because she's been having like physical therapy appointments with the therapist where she didn't feel like super supported. So I was like, you have to go to him because he told me, he was like, don't listen to anyone. I got you. We can get you strength. You won't have to live in pain for the rest of your life. And so for me to have someone to believe that much in me and put in that work is why I became a coach in the first place because I wanted to be that person for someone else. So
Mhm.
when everyone's telling them no, they can't, or you yourself are telling yourself you can't, there's someone in your corner that says you can.
Yeah, I love that. So tell us what happened. You went to him and then what?
Yeah, well, he was again like an angel from heaven because he let me go 5 days a week, even when my insurance didn't cover it.
Wow.
So I was in physical therapy for, I would say, at least 2 years straight, 5 days a week, and then in his care for 5 years, like off and on, just learning how to strengthen my back and my glutes. Found out pretty much because I was in physical therapy, I studied the lower body. Like, I know exactly why back pain happens, how to like protect yourself from low back injuries, and how it kind of really all correlates to the glutes. So I learned so much in physical therapy, but I was also able to take what he showed me and apply it to real life, where now I'm really not in any pain, which is amazing.
Wow. And so you didn't need surgery. You were able to live pain-free and kind of strengthen. And but you still have the condition where your back and sacrum are fused. Okay, but it doesn't bother you.
Yeah, once in a blue moon, if again, on a daily basis, my legs are longer. One leg is longer than the other
Okay.
because of the sacrum, like the fusion on one side hikes up my hips. So
Okay.
I have one leg that's longer. So
Yeah.
in the gym, when people talk about form, my form looks a little different. And
Yeah.
I think that's also something that can be really powerful as a coach to understand that there's not always one perfect form, depending, because every body's a little different, but I would say as a basis, like there are correct forms. It's just
Yeah.
sometimes you
Like
gotta play around with
totally.
it.
Yeah. No, like there's like a way to do things fundamentally correct, but then everyone can tweak it to their specific anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a cool process to learn and figure out on my own on how to like protect
Yeah,
myself.
yeah. Okay, so that was the first thing that got you into health and wellness. You said there was a
Mhm.
second thing too.
Yeah, in college, I ended up with an eating disorder. So I was bulimic for a year. So everything I ate, I would throw up. I would restrict myself. I was eating about 1,000 calories. I was on fat burners as well. All I wanted to do was be skinny. And me and my friend, we were training for a bodybuilding competition, but we didn't have a coach. We kind of just did it on a whim. And, I was doing 2 days on 1,000 calories slash bulimic slash fat burner. And yeah, I was on a really bad path in college. So it actually changed when my mom, she came to college and she told me, she was like, hey, we're gonna go shopping. And I was like, okay, I love shopping. Um, no, like, yeah, come this weekend. And she ended up bringing me to a registered dietitian.
Oh, plot twist. That's
Yeah,
not the mall.
it was kind of crazy. And at the time, I was really angry, but the RD looked at me and was like, "Hey, you're going to die if you continue this way. Like this is like really, really bad." Because I did it all at once, like everything at once, just anything to look quote unquote skinny or good, I would say. I've always been a little self-conscious of my body. And so when she said those to me, like those words, it kind of switched like a flip. And I was like, maybe this isn't worth it. And it took me 6 years to 5 to 6 years to fully recover from like the eating disorder to, have some pizza or have a burger and then not want to like either like throw it up or not eat it completely. And so, relearning of, hey, I can have this and it doesn't make me gain weight. It's everything in moderation. And that's why I went back for my master's because I wanted to learn like so much more about nutrition because I viewed food as bad and I don't love like the good bad food. Like I really don't think there's good and bad food. Like of course at the end of the day, there's some things that are better for us, but I think everything can be in moderation. But yeah, that's why I went back to school for nutrition and then the more that I studied it, the more that I realized women, we face a lot of disordered eating, eating disorders, and just food noise and thoughts that consume us on like a daily basis. So being able to really help women overcome all of that is something or another reason why I really became a coach.
Yeah. Wow, super powerful. So it sounds like you were able to overcome that through learning about nutrition, working with a dietitian. Anything else that helped you really improve your relationship with food?
Honestly, I would say speaking up for myself, because, family can be really hard. I would always get, you're too skinny, you need to eat, or why aren't you eating more? Or I don't know, just food comments in general about my body, what I'm eating, and then speaking up about it. Or my friends would always be like, hey, do you want to go out to eat? Or do you want to go here? Do you want this, this, this? And it's like, hey, I'm kind of struggling right now. That's probably not the best for me and having people be like accept that. So I started being honest and vulnerable with my friends and family. So that way, those comments kind of stopped or they could help me and be like, "Hey, maybe you don't want to eat this, but like what do you want to eat?
Yeah.
What's comfortable to eat at this moment in time?" And
Yeah.
so I thought one thing that really helped me was just being vocal about it because a lot of people don't fully know or they voice a little bit of their insecurities on you. But if they don't know what you're going through, they can't really
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good tip. And I think that applies to a lot of our clients too, even if, they're not recovering from an eating disorder, but just on a health journey, right? There's so many comments that people make of like, well, why aren't you eating that? Why aren't you? And kind of vocalizing like, hey, I'm really trying to work on my health right now, can be really powerful to reduce some of that peer pressure.
For sure, yeah. I highly suggest it. If
Yeah, yeah. So I'm curious also okay, so just I think you probably know my story, but I had an eating disorder as well in my teens. And then my parents took me to a dietitian, and she kind of resolved the like get my period back part of it. Like I got it back and I looked healthy on the surface, but I never dealt with like the underneath issues, like the things that were driving me to use that eating disordered behavior as a coping tool. So it wasn't until years later when I started therapy and did a lot of like work on myself in that regard that I was really able to improve my relationship with food, but also my relationship with myself, because all your issues with yourself tend to show up in your relationship with food. So I'm curious, did you go to like therapy as well in conjunction with that?
I was in therapy in general, not necessarily for like the eating disorder, but I think what I realized was the things that I was talking about in therapy, they went hand in hand,
Yeah.
right? So for me, it was a lot about the control. I wanted to control everything in my life because control, like, if I could control it, it felt safe. And
Mm.
when I can't control something, I feel unsafe and like my nervous system kind of goes out of whack. I get anxious, but it's just my body way of being like, hey, we can protect you if we can control it.
Yeah, yeah,
And so certain things in my life that I was trying to control, like my personal life kind of felt out of whack. And it was just like everything was happening. I couldn't control anything besides the food.
yeah.
And
Okay.
so at the time, I really didn't correlate it. But looking back, when I started to really self-analyze and, dig deeper, I realized that, yeah, they definitely correlate. Like it's
Yeah, yeah,
kind of crazy to think about because, I don't know, you think what's happening in your personal life has nothing to do with your food. But I think the majority of us, regardless of whether we binge, we restrict, like we overeat, we don't eat, like when we're sad, whatever it is, they correlate. Like they
yeah.
just do.
No, totally. And I think that's a big mistake a lot of people make when trying to approach weight loss is they kind of only look at the surface level things, like what should I eat, how to work out, like what diet should I follow? And they don't realize that like it doesn't really matter if you're emotional eating and coming home from work and binging or staying up late and like sneaking in treats at night when everyone's sleeping. Like those things need to be addressed separately than your diet and nutrition. Like, yeah, they go hand in hand, but like a diet is not going to cure your emotional eating, right? Dealing with your emotions is going to cure your emotional eating. And I know we work with a lot of clients on that. And sometimes, a lot of times, it does also make sense to do therapy hand in hand if some of those issues are deeper rooted. So.
Hmm.
Cool. Well, thank you for telling us a little bit more about your journey. Now I know that you are half Portuguese, right? And you've worked with clients from a range of different backgrounds. Tell us a little bit more about how you help clients who might eat cultural food, might eat South Asian food, and how you kind of tie that into your coaching and personal life as well if you eat Portuguese dishes.
Yeah, I think in general, right? It all comes down to, sorry, I'm gonna readjust now.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I think in general, one of the things that I hold dear to my heart is definitely like culture and how I was raised and how I grew up. And so I do believe like everything in moderation, but we can still, and I'm a firm believer, we can still make all of your favorite dishes and make them healthy. And I think BBR does a really great job with just the resources of recipes and just constant like all the like resources of like how to get high protein in on a vegetarian diet. And for me too, I don't I wouldn't consider myself like an expert, but I will do the research. I will like make sure I know all the foods that your culture has and what you guys eat and come up with a game plan, work with you. And if there's anything that I don't really know, it's like, hey, can you explain that to me? Hey, like what tell me a little more. Like, what does this dish look like? Okay, well, I see that it's made from this, this, and this. Do you think we could drop like maybe 3 tablespoons of oil to two or to one? And can we still make that like flavor pop? And so for me, it's really working with my clients and making sure
Yeah.
that they know that they can still eat their favorite foods but we can make it healthy. We can make it fit into their macros. And again, a splurge every now and then is not like, it's not a bad thing. So everything in moderation, but keeping, for me as a coach, keeping your culture in mind and making sure that you feel supported of like, I'm not taking away your favorite foods. We're just, making small habit changes, but at the end of the day, you can still enjoy
Yeah.
your favorite foods.
No, totally. And I know already at this point, being with BBR for some time now, you've worked with dozens of South Asian clients who eat different food than yourself, and you've learned a lot. Are there any like client stories or examples you can share that you're particularly proud of recently, or how you helped them achieve a result?
I think for me, one of the biggest things, and it's going back to what we were just talking about with like kind of like standing up for yourself. I had a client who went to India and she was really nervous because her family kind of always comments on her weight but then they'll be like, "Hey, eat this, eat this, eat this." But then we'll be like, "You're a little overweight. Will you lose weight?" And she was super nervous about going back home. And we had a real conversation about, "Hey, what would it look like if you stood up for yourself?" And you said, "I'm okay, like I'm full. I don't need this extra food or I don't really want it." What would that look like? What's the worst that happens? And what's the other scenario? And she was like, "You know what? What is the worst that can happen, right?" They kind of give you a little more pushback, but then they drop it.
And forget in like 7 minutes, you know?
Yeah, and she went to India and she was like, "I did it." She was like, "I stood up for myself. I made my own meals at the house. I brought my protein powder so that way I could have a high protein breakfast, but then I was also able to enjoy dinners here and there." And she came back feeling so proud of herself that she asserted her boundaries.
Love that. That's
And that was
amazing.
really nice. And
Yeah.
so I felt like when she came back, she kind of had a new positive outlook of like, "Hey, I can actually make this a lifestyle and I can make
Oh,
this part of who I am."
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I think a lot of people think that losing weight makes them more confident, just like being skinnier. But oftentimes it's like the path to get there that builds confidence, right? Setting boundaries, learning to put your needs as a priority amongst everything else. Showing yourself that like you can do it, you can lift that weight that you thought you couldn't do. And overcoming those like mental obstacles is ultimately like what builds the confidence, not necessarily like the weight loss inherently itself, right?
Yeah, and I think it kind of just remind me of like a client that I have. She has kids, right? Busy mom, and she's like, "I make breakfast for my kids, but I don't make breakfast for myself." And I'm like, "Why is that?" She's like, "My kids eat oatmeal." And I'm like, "You could eat oatmeal too." And she's like, "I never thought about that." So it's just
Yeah.
like small little things in
Oatmeal's so good. I
general.
eat oatmeal every day. So
Yeah,
good.
and I'm like, oatmeal's healthy, it's perfect, but it's just small things that it kind of can take an outside person to see.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
"Hey, we can just point this out, and now you're gonna
Yeah,
have a high
yeah.
protein breakfast."
I remember when I was working with Coach Catherine, I was eating oatmeal and protein powder, and she was reviewing my food logs, and I think we were trying to get like more fruits and vegetables or like more fiber. Like I was hitting my macros, but I think I just needed more micronutrients, like vegetables and fruits. And one of the things she suggested was like, "Oh, why don't you put some blueberries in your oatmeal?" And I was like, how did I never think about that? Like it just like never occurred to me to put blueberries in my oatmeal, and that's a way to get fruit in right there, you know?
Yeah, it just sometimes takes someone else to just be like, "Hey, this is really
Yeah,
simple."
yeah,
But
yeah,
you, in the heat of the moment or your life, you don't really think about it because
yeah.
kind of like trained ourselves in one way.
Changing behaviors is hard like that, right? Because we're so like in our groove, like literally in our brain, those neural pathways are grooved in like highways. And change is like taking a from a highway going on like a dirt road, and it feels awkward and uncomfortable at first, and we sometimes don't even realize those other paths are there because we're so used to the one we're on. But that is like one of the best parts about having a coach, somebody to see around the corners, see through the cracks, and just guide you on the right way to go. So cool. So let's take the next 60 seconds and do a little bit of fun rapid fire questions. Um, Real quick. So, what is your favorite healthy meal to make? I know healthy is like a big term, but healthy, like whatever that means to you.
Honestly, I love fried rice. And so I usually just make a healthy fried rice because I always have rice cooked. And then sometimes I really don't feel like cooking chicken or beef. And so I throw eggs. So I'll do an egg fried rice and I'll throw my frozen veggies. And since the rice is already cooked, it takes me like 5 minutes just to throw everything in there. And, I still use a little oil so it still gets that fried taste, but throw seasoning, garlic, fresh garlic, all of that. So that's my favorite quick, healthy meal.
Yummy. It sounds so good. I do that too sometimes for like a lazy girl meal. And I'll put like chili crisp on there. It's so good.
Hmm.
Okay, what's your favorite indulgent food?
Honestly, anything with peanut butter. So I'm like a peanut butter fanatic. I swear if I end up in prison on death row and I had one last meal, it probably would be like a bowl of peanut butter.
Oh,
Um,
so good.
so I like my peanut butter and chocolate. So honestly, like a Reese's is
So
pretty
good.
much my weakness.
Do you like the like Justin's Reese's, like the healthier ones? Or I mean, I know they're not like macro wise healthier, but better ingredients, or do you like the
Really?
original? Yeah, I like the original ones. I'm like, why are you trying to make a Reese's healthy? Come on. So just
Yeah, but I will make my own sometimes. Like I will like
ooh,
do like my own peanut butter, like dip it in chocolate and like put it in the fridge.
oh, yeah, cool. Do you speak any other languages?
No, but I'm in the process of learning Portuguese. So
Ooh, okay, cool. And is there a fun fact most people don't know about you?
I don't know if it's like I don't know how fun fact this is, but most people are surprised that I'm a certified scuba diver.
Oh, that's a fun fact. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Where's your favorite place you've scubaed?
Well, Belize was a really cool place because we saw sharks.
Ooh,
So that was fun. But I would say I think the most beautiful spot so far was Thailand.
oh, awesome. Do you have any pet peeves, or what's your biggest pet peeve?
Ooh, I feel like this might stir up some people. Slow walkers.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like if I'm just walking, I'm sorry, I just have to walk fast. Like if my
Yeah.
friend is slower than I am, I will be like, I'll meet you there.
Yeah. That's funny. Do you mean like when you're walking with people or like you're walking and somebody in front of you is slow?
A little bit of both.
Oh, okay, okay. I get
'Cause
that.
I'm just like, I want to get there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I'm trying to get my steps in. Like, not here to just lollygag around.
Exactly.
Yeah. Favorite brand of workout clothes?
That's a tough one because honestly, I usually shop Shein and I just get a lot of cheap stuff.
Oh, that's so bad for the environment and
I
everything.
know. I know. But I'm like, sometimes it's just so nice not to spend like $80 on like sweatshirts,
That's when
but
you gotta go thrifting.
that's true. That's true. But if I go like brand name, honestly, I'm a big Alpha Elite.
Ooh, okay, okay. Cool. And then the last question, do you have a celebrity crush?
I do. It's Michael B. Jordan.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
awesome.
my favorite.
Cool. So those were all the main questions I had for you. Anything else you want people to know about you or your coaching style?
That's a good question. I think overall, in general, just from my history and the way that I grew up, I really care about like form and corrective fitness and making sure that we're preventing injury at all costs, but still gaining strength. And so being able to, like send me your form videos. Tell me, be like, hey, this bothered me. Let me see what we're working with in order to, like one, prevent injury, but really get the strength that we need to build the muscle in order to see that body recomposition,
Yeah.
right? But form is always first. So for me, I'm a big like, hey, let's start at ground zero. We're all learning still, so.
Yeah, like we have to, make sure you have a good form on the basics before we do advanced things.
And it can be hard too because I think everyone just wants to, we all want that muscle, we all want that strength, and it can feel kind of like, oh, I already know this, I know what to do, but
Yeah, yeah,
it can be kind of hard to take a step back and be like, hey, let's make sure the basics are secure before we start adding.
yeah, totally. Cool. Well, thanks, Michelle, for your time. If you guys want to work with Coach Michelle, click the link below and apply to work with her. She does have some spots open on her roster. And make sure to also give her a follow on Instagram, you guys. She posts a lot of fun, inspiring content, ranging from fitness stuff to like travel and just a lot of good vibes on her page. So thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.